All right, today we are going to Florence, but we're not just doing the usual tour. No, we're going to look at this incredible city through the eyes of an architect. We're going to get under the hood and really see the engineering genius, the hidden codes, and the power plays that are literally built into its walls.
So you've probably seen the pictures, you know the famous art. But what if I told you the real story, the most fascinating story, isn't just hanging in a gallery? It's in the very bones of the city itself.
See, most people walk through Florence and see a beautiful, ancient city. And it is. But an architect sees something totally different. They see a city built on solving impossible problems. They see a ruthless game of power and ambition, all written in stone. And that's the Florence we're going to explore.
Okay, so our story has to start with a massive, and I mean massive, problem. For decades, the main cathedral in Florence, the magnificent Santa Maria del Fiore, had a giant, gaping hole in its roof, a hole they literally did not know how to close.
Just to give you a sense of the scale here, that hole was 45 meters wide, an absolutely enormous span for the time. The city's pride was at stake. They had this incredible cathedral, but no one on Earth, it seemed, could figure out how to put a roof on it. Now, the normal way you'd build a big dome back then was to create this huge wooden support structure from the ground all the way up, kind of like a mold, and then build a stone dome on top of it. Sounds pretty straightforward, right?
Well, not so much. The dome was going to be so high and so incredibly wide that there literally wasn't enough wood in the entire region of Tuscany to build the scaffolding they needed. They were completely stuck. The old ways just weren't going to work.
And then comes this guy, Filippo Brunelleschi, a total genius. He didn't just have one idea. He had a whole system of brilliant innovations that all worked together. First, he designed two domes, one inside the other, to make it lighter. Then, he came up with this incredible self-supporting herringbone brick pattern, so the dome could hold itself up as it was being built. He also embedded huge stone and timber chains inside the masonry, acting like a belt to keep it from pushing outwards. And to top it all off, he invented revolutionary new cranes to lift all the materials up there without needing that impossible scaffolding. It wasn't one solution, it was a symphony of them.
So, after pulling off this miracle of engineering, you can imagine the confidence surging through Florence. The city's wealthy families started to realize, hey, architecture isn't just about buildings. It's a language. It's a way to show everyone just how powerful we are.
And a key part of that language was the stone they used. In Florence, you'll see two main types. On one side, you have pietra forte, which means strong stone. It's rough, it's rugged, it looks like a fortress, it just screams power. But then you have pietra serena, or serene stone. It's smooth, it's gray, and it was used to create a feeling of harmony, reason, and intellectual clarity. Which stone a family chose for their palace was a huge statement.
A perfect example of this is the Palazzo Pitti. Just look at the ground floor. It's made of these massive, almost crude-looking blocks of pietra forte. This isn't just a wall, it's a message. It's designed to look intimidating, to project the raw, unshakable strength of the Pitti family. It says, don't mess with us.
Now, compare that with a Palazzo Rucellai. This building is communicating a completely different kind of power. Instead of brute force, it's all about intellect. The architect, Alberti, used smooth stone and organized the whole front of the building with columns inspired by ancient Rome, just like the Colosseum. This was a very clear signal to everyone that the Rucellai family wasn't just rich, they were educated, cultured, and sophisticated.
But, for the ultimate power move in all of Florence, you have to look to the Medici family. They built something called the Vasari corridor. It's a private, enclosed walkway, almost a kilometer long, that connected their government offices, went right through the Uffizi Gallery, ran over the top of all the shops on the famous Ponte Vecchio Bridge, and ended at their palace. Think about that. They could cross the entire city without ever having to walk on the street with the regular people. They were literally above it all.
But here's the thing, Florence isn't only the Renaissance. And that's what makes it so fascinating. It's this incredible layer cake of different architectural styles, with amazing buildings that came way before and way after its famous golden age.
So let's rewind the clock a bit. Go back to the 11th century and you'll find San Miniato al Monte. This is Florentine Romanesque. And look at that incredible geometric pattern on the outside, made from green and white marble. This focus on color and pattern was the city's style before the Renaissance came along, with its obsession with classical harmony and proportion.
Okay, now let's jump way forward to the 1930s, the Santa Maria Novella train station. It's a masterpiece of a style called Italian rationalism. And notice this, while all the old churches in Florence are soaring vertically towards the sky, this building is intentionally long, low, and horizontal. It's a complete departure, focusing on clean lines and function. A stunningly modern statement right in the heart of the old city.
And you know, sometimes the stories aren't in the grand designs, but in the tiny little details. High up on the side of the Duomo, there's this little carving of a bull's head. And local legend says that one of the stonemasons put it there, pointing directly at the bakery of a man whose wife the stonemason was having an affair with. A little bit of personal drama carved forever into one of the world's greatest buildings.
So after seeing all of this, how can you start to see cities differently? To see them like an architect? Well, it all comes down to asking the right kinds of questions.
Here it is, your own little architect's toolkit. First, always ask, how is this thing actually built? Look for the brilliant engineering solution behind the beauty. Second, read the materials. What are they trying to tell you? Is it about power or is it about intellect? Third, always look for the power play. Who built this and who were they trying to impress? And finally, look for the contrasts. What came before it? What came after it? And what does that tell you about how the city has changed?
Because in the end, that's what architecture is. It's a story, written in stone and metal and glass. A story of ingenuity, ambition, and power. So the next time you're walking around, whether it's in Florence or just in your own city, take a closer look. What story are the buildings around you trying to tell?